Hey there, how's it going? We're glad to have you joining us from all around the world. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
So how did Pakistan force India to back down using one of the smartest air ambushes of the century? Well, Pakistan managed to seriously shake the image of India's mighty air force. It turned into a global military scandal. India literally ended up hitting itself with its own missiles. The Indian military became the subject of worldwide mockery. India expected Pakistan to follow the usual route, condemnations at the UN, some vague diplomatic moves, but what actually happened shocked everyone.
Instead of going to the United Nations, Pakistan launched precision-guided ballistic missiles at strategic targets near New Delhi. One of the biggest hits was the destruction of the advanced Russian-made S-400 air defense system, one of the most expensive and powerful in India's arsenal. The attack wasn't random. It was calculated, shocking, and fast. Pakistan had been tracking Indian movements for days and was totally prepared. Their response wasn't just a typical counterattack. It was a carefully coordinated air operation that was bold and decisive.
Reports say over 125 Pakistani aircraft took part in the battle, making it the largest air engagement since the 1965 war between the two nations. Pakistan claimed it shot down 5 Indian aircraft, including the cutting-edge Rafale fighter jets, as a direct response to India's recent escalation. What's surprising is that those Rafale jets are the most advanced in India's air force and were supposed to be their spearhead in any serious conflict, alongside the Sukhoi Su-30 and MiG-29 jets. But on paper strength doesn't always match real-world performance. India's air strategy, backed by powerful long-range strike capabilities, failed to deliver. Instead of dominating the skies, they got caught off guard. Pakistan's president made a short but clear statement. This wasn't our choice, it was theirs. And since they chose war, we'll be the ones to finish it.
The conflict exposed serious weaknesses in India's military. In one embarrassing incident, India fired several missiles that ended up falling within its own territory, causing a wave of international mockery. Some major countries even began to question whether India deserves to be considered a serious nuclear or even regional power. Pakistan, meanwhile, sarcastically commented, "We are not fighting an army, we're fighting people who don't even know how to use the weapons they have."
Reports suggest that Pakistan used advanced electronic jamming and intelligence systems, possibly supplied by China or developed locally, which helped expose flaws in India's defenses, especially in Rafale and Sukhoi jets. Despite India's technological edge, overconfidence and underestimating their opponent played a big role in them losing the upper hand. Indian jets, although heavily armed, were bigger and easier to detect, especially the Su-30s, which are large and complex, making them ideal targets in the tricky mountainous terrain of Kashmir. Even the Rafale jets, equipped with cutting-edge Spectra electronic defense and Meteor missiles, couldn't handle Pakistan's surprise tactics. India relied on them too much as their go-to attack aircraft, and that over-reliance led to heavy losses.
One of Pakistan's most impressive moves was what military experts call dynamic role distribution. This means aircraft didn't stick to just one job. They adapted their missions as the battle evolved. For example, the JF-17 jet would deliberately show itself to lure Indian jets into turning on their radars, making them visible targets. At that point, Pakistan's J-10C jets would strike from the rear with precision missiles from ideal angles and altitudes. But the biggest morale blow came when Pakistan shot down multiple French-made Rafale fighters India had just received. They went down easily, unable to even dodge or respond. Media outlets shared footage showing Indian pilots struggling with basic maneuvers, reinforcing accusations of poor training. France was forced to defend the Rafale, saying the problem wasn't with the jet, but with the Indian pilots who didn't know how to use it properly. Still, the damage was done. Many countries no longer see the Rafale as a reliable fighter, and France is now reconsidering future sales to India.
And the failures didn't stop with French jets. Pakistan also downed Russian fighters and Israeli drones in record time, pushing Moscow and Tel Aviv to rethink their military ties with New Delhi, especially after realizing some sensitive technologies might end up in enemy hands due to these weak points.
Meanwhile, China emerged as the biggest indirect winner. The Chinese weapons used in Pakistan's attack performed impressively, from long-range missiles and J-10C fighter jets to drones and smart radar systems. This boosted Beijing's image as a reliable and effective arms supplier. China wasn't doing this out of love. It used the opportunity to market its weapons to the world, and it worked. Many countries are now rushing to buy Chinese-made systems. The Kashmir battle proved beyond any doubt that the era of standalone fighter jets is over. Modern wars are won with integrated systems, not just fancy planes. For the first time, an entirely Chinese combat system, from jets and missiles to radars, went up against superior Western tech and came out on top. This is a turning point, according to many military analysts. It's also a wake-up call for countries that still see Chinese weapons as just a cheap alternative. It's now clear that integration, network coordination, and electronic warfare can completely shift the balance of power in any future conflict.
Thanks so much for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. At S News, we're committed to bringing you traditional, balanced reporting.